Welcome to this current affair topic, Nobel Prize. In this lecture, we will take Physics, Chemistry, Medicine and Peace Prize awarded in this year 2020. Before moving at the lecture, we will see what exactly is Nobel Prize, on the will of whom this prize is awarded, and what are the different fields. Nobel Prizes are awarded in the fields of physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, literature and peace prize. It was established as per the will of Alfred Nobel in the 1895 for those people who has done a greatest job for the humankind, for helping the humankind, for the welfare of the humankind in their preceding years or in their lifetime for the work. Alfred Nobel was a Swedish chemist, engineer and industrialist who was famously known for the invention of dynamite and died in 1896. So you can remember from here that who has done the invention of dynamite. It was none other than Alfred Nobel, and it was established by his will, this Nobel Prize, which consists of 5 fields. Which are the 5 fields? Physics, chemistry, medicine, literature and peace. In the latter we will see economics also, but it is not counted in the Nobel Prize. Okay, so moving ahead, Nobel Prize in medicine or in physiology of this year. So we will see there are 5 kinds of hepatitis: A, B, C, D and E. So this year Nobel Prize was awarded to the 3 people jointly. It was not divided, jointly collaborated together with the 3 people. It was Harvey J. Alter, Michael Houghton and Charles M. Rice. So if you are preparing for the UPSC exams, so you don't have to remember these 3 names, but if you are preparing for the state service exams, then you have to remember these 3 names. Okay, so these 3 names are given jointly for Harvey J. Alter, Michael Houghton and Charles M. Rice. For what? For the discovery of hepatitis C virus. So why is it so important? Because as in the introduction we have seen that Nobel Prize is given if someone has done a very good work in the welfare for the humankind. So in this lecture we will see that how this hepatitis C is dangerous to the life of people, how much it is dangerous. Okay, so hepatitis C virus, it directly affects the liver, which is a important organ when it comes to our digestive system on the body. Liver tends to generate nothing but that bile juice. We have studied this thing in our school days chapters, that liver secrete which kind of juice? That is bile juice, that helps in digestion process. And this hepatitis C directly attack the liver part and it affects the formation of bile juice, and ultimately the digestive system of the body get damaged. So these 3 people, that is Harvard J. Alter, Michael Houghton and Charles M. Rice, these 3 people identify the hepatitis C virus as together, and A and B cause, like if we see that compared with the A and B, it still causes millions of death. And hepatitis C is also the worried. If compared with A is not so much dangerous, but with compared with B and C it is very dangerous. So in 2015 they caused more than 10 lakh deaths. When we discover the virus, it creates a pathway to cure such disease from the virus. It means this sentence is denoting that when we have a kind of virus, what kind of virus we have, so after that we can think of a solution. Let us suppose we don't know the shape and size of the virus, then how can we move ahead for curing about this virus? How can we move ahead creation of vaccine for that virus, or vaccine or medicine for that virus? So first of all, we have to identify the virus. So they identified the virus. Now after the identification, now we can move ahead in the curing of such disease. That does it mean that when we discovered it, now we can move ahead in curing of that disease. So the main part, the discovery of that virus, was done by them. Hepatitis A, we call it as a normal jaundice, and hepatitis B and C tends to move from one person to another, but it can spread through food transfusion, that sharing of the liquids or sexual intercourse and all, and in that manner hepatitis B and C can spread, and this lead to a maximum amount of damage. In the alternative investigation of this virus, it was found that the shape and size of the virus were taken, like after the identification of that virus, the shape and size of the virus were cleared. Then Houghton identified DNA of the virus and isolated the virus, and Rice, that is Charles M. Rice, created an engineered version of hepatitis C virus and showed its cause of hepatitis in chimpanzees. After that, like when they found that virus, then they showed like this is the hepatitis virus by infecting the chimpanzee. So thus, as it was spread from one being to or one particular virus to another one, so thus they explain the theory of transfusion also, that it can spread through transfusion, that is like liquid spreading, like sexual intercourse and or the transfer of blood and all. Hepatitis is a disease spread by virus, not by bacteria, protozoa, fungi, etc. It is a disease spread by virus. Remember, this kind of question can come in MCQ, and recently this question came in KBC, that how this hepatitis is related to the what bacteria, fungi, protozoa or virus, and the option was virus. So it is a viral infection, and hepatitis A is normal in the country. Liver inflammation is caused by B and C. A is normal, jaundice is not severe, but B and C is an issue. It can begin to die and lead to liver cirrhosis, which will lead to liver cancer also. So it is not that we can't cure hepatitis B and C, but the issue is that we have to detect it early. So if we are able to detect it early, then we can cure that patient. Otherwise it will be a very dangerous. So many of times people are unaware of such problems is happening within their body, and at the stage of late of that disease, they came to realize they are suffering from that virus. Even it was said that through your eyes droplet also this virus can be spread. Okay, like if you are cutting if you are making your beard and you are cutting with a trimmer, so that trimmer blade will also have a fluid attached with your beard. Like when you are cutting also beard, yes, your skin is safe, but when you are cutting also there is some amount of secretion of liquid from your beard. So if someone is using your trimmer, then that person may be affected, like infected through that virus, if some cuts happen in their body or not. Okay, so they try to avoid these kind of activity. So moving ahead, now the Nobel Prize in chemistry. So it was given because of the ability to alter the genes. Like if a person is suffering from cancer, so through the mechanism of altering the genes, so we can cure them, the coming generation. Like suppose a person A and person B had married together and they have child, and person A had suffered from cancer, so then there is a more probability then that their child will also suffer from cancer. So that kind of alteration in the genes of C1 and C2 can be done, so that the chance of happening cancer to their children of A will be cut down. How this will happen, we will see in this lecture. So given for development of a method for genome editing, it was given to Emmanuel Carpenter and Jennifer A. Doudna. Okay, so this development can be used for plant breeding, better genetic crops, cancer treatment, and disease which are hereditary. So why plant breeding? Like, see, plant breeding also have some genes modification. So if you go in my channel, if you find that genes modified crops, there's something called GM crops. So I have a separate lecture on that also. You can go and you can watch that also. So in that plant breeding also we can use this technology. Then in cancer treatment, or prevent some person from a particular disease which are hereditary in nature. So how is gene editing achieved? So it was through a Caesar, something called as Cas9. So it was like, if this is your gene, then, and if this area, if this part is infected, if this part is seen as the infected one, then through Cas9 Caesar we can cut it down and implant a good genes which does not have that characteristics, and we can install that new gene on the place of the old gene. Okay, on the place of old gene, and ultimately the gene decoding will be done. That is something called as coding. So in the computer terms we can say that coding will be done. The code will be changed, your genetical code will be changed, and new code will be implanted on the part of error or the bug area. In the terms of computer engineer, I will talk that the bug present in your code will be removed from the different code. That is done through this method. So it was given that all the physical traits that a person are encoded in the genes. A person has a history of cancer, let us suppose. So through this mechanism we can edit this genome by removing the affected portion, this affected portion, and install a perfectly correct genes. And it was done through nothing but Cas9 genetic Caesar will cut down this gene, and DNA edited template will be installed. That is another, that is working code, that is the good code, that is the genes, that is good genes will be installed here. So it is more useful in larger use of cancer, diabetes, etc., but it is not efficient in HIV, in preventing from HIV. Okay, so the same thing is explained here. So moving ahead, now the Nobel Prize in Physics. So Nobel Prize in Physics is given in two half, like one half is given for another thing, and one half is given for another thing. So we will see in this slide. So Nobel Prize has been awarded one half to Roger Penrose for what? For the discovery that black hole formation is a robust prediction of the general theory of relativity, and the another half jointly is given to Reinhard Gengel and Andrea Genge, that is both two together, for another half of that Nobel Peace Prize for the discovery of a supermassive compact object at the center of our galaxy. Okay, so Robert Penrose discovery was something like, if you have a black hole, so there is something only two division for it. One will be something called as the event horizon, this is one event horizon, and another will be called as the singularity. So the singularity means, see, it means like if anything touches the event horizon, that this is something called event horizon. If anything touches the event horizon, it can't escape. So it is something like that. If everything is moving in the universe, and if it came close to this event horizon, so ultimately what will happen? It will be sucked. It will be sucked by this black hole. It will be sucked by this black hole. Okay, and it is said that even light can't escape. Like if you are raising or throwing light on this place in this horizon, it will also not escape and it will be also sucked by this black hole. So the two things was mentioned by Roger Penrose. It was that first, nothing can be go against that can be escaped from event horizon, and ultimately the density at the center will be so high, infinite high, that it will be a single object. Density will be infinitely high, and at that time the time will be stopped. So for calculation, any density or speed or anything, everything will be stopped, nothing will be working there. So it was said that at the singularity at the center, the time will stop and the density of the time and gravity will be indefinite, that is infinite. Okay, so that was mentioned as the discovery that black hole formation is a robust prediction, that general theory of relativity. Through that general theory of relativity, it was given. Now for the second part, it was by Reinhard Gengel and Andrea Gage, that the discovery of supermass or compact object at the center of galaxy. So it is said that we have the sun. It was said that on the universe we have sun, and around that we have lots of planet. Okay, all planets are, some are revolving around, some are revolving around. So their discovery, their explanation has said that in the center of our universe, we have a black hole. So everything whichever is revolving around for the black hole, and ultimately it has been said that by the theory, another theory, that after a period of many millions years ago, so everything will be fall into the black holes, as all are revolving around and ultimately they will fall into the black hole. Okay, so this was the general theory. So it is in the slide. So what is black hole? So it refers to the area or the point where everything is so tightly packed to each other where nothing can be escaped. Light is also unable to escape from that area and referred as a black hole. In the center of the galaxy we have supermassive compressed ball black hole, very high density material, singularity. So this black hole leads to closer region, and stars and other planets are moving around the high velocity. Now we know that the exact center of our galaxy, now we know that exact center of our galaxy, like if suppose this is a universe and if our planet is revolving around, so whatever be the center of our galaxy, there will be a black hole, there will be a giant black hole. And black hole is studied with the help of nothing but that is your gravitational force, that everything is revolving around is through the gravitational force only, and the black hole has an infinite amount of gravitational force. And black holes have a two horizon, one is the event horizon and the another one is the singularity. So event horizon will attract anything if it comes into that horizon, and it will be thrown to the singularity, and ultimately the density of that material will be infinite and nothing can escape and the time will be stopped. So it was through the physics in the explained by the Roger Penrose and the Reinhard Gengel and Andrea Gage, if we combine all those two things. So it was observed when we come to the center of black hole is referred as a singularity, and density becomes infinite and time stops. And also there is a event horizon, a point where gravity line will be very strong, and if anything comes it will be sucked. Okay, now the last one will be Nobel Peace Prize. So it was in the news from starting of the COVID situation, that is the WFP, World Food Program, and from starting only they are serving the different societies of the world which are not getting even food for a one time, and they are providing food for them. So it was awarded to them, it was awarded to food program in order to combat hunger and peace to the areas affected by conflict. Right now the areas conflicted is through the COVID situation. Okay, so World Food Program was founded in the 1961 headquarter at Rome, that is Italy, so with an aim that nobody should die due to starvation or hunger. So their main aim is to not die anybody in the world due to starvation or hunger. So in the news also, it was before that Nobel Peace Prize also, it was in news. So World Food Program was working very hard in the 21st century, that is in this century also, but in this year too. So rising inequality between rich and poor in COVID-19, rescuing health workers and carried food rations to the poor population like African countries. Right now mainly they are active in the African countries, they are providing them food and all. There was one article especially for them was printed in the Hindu few months back, that the kind of that the world whole wealth is accumulated within the 10% of the top rich people. So there is huge inequality between the world. So their aim was to, like, the writer in that the Hindu paper has told, like, there is a need of distribution of wealth in the world. Like they discuss related to the World Food Program also, that they are working very hard in this COVID situation also, and they are getting fund from the world, and even they have a lack of fund, but they are working and they are providing food to the African countries, poor countries, even the another nations, even the for the another continents also, they are doing very great job. So they help in stabilizing the wars and conflicts. So that's why the Nobel Peace Prize was given to the World Food Program that was founded in 1961, and in currently this COVID situation also, they are working very hard, and their main aim is to allow that nobody should die due to starvation and hunger. So I hope you have liked this video. Please subscribe this channel. Your subscription is a form of payment for me, and if you have any suggestions, if you want any on-demand video lecture, please feel free to ping on my Twitter handle. Thank you.